Hello, we are going to talk about the climate. How much do you know about the climate? What we are going to present this time is related to climate. First, let's look at how the weather affects our daily life. Generally, there are sunny days, rainy days, snow days, and the day the leaves fall. There are so many kinds of weather in our daily life. Now, let's look at what's more closely related in our daily life. When the weather is good, we do outdoor activities and play soccer. Also, food grown in nature grow very well, but bad weather can lead to droughts. And also, rain can remind you of a spicy marathon. The weather also affects our feeling. The higher the temperature, the less depressing. Sunny days make it more romantic. When we get hot, we become violent and sensitive. We are not good at complicated work and thinking in cold weather. We eat more and we don't get sunlight. And rain causes pain. Not only that, but the weather also affects the industry. Indoor and outdoor areas, electronic appliances based on temperature, the clothing industry and transport industry.
Okay, I will talk about the weather and climate. Weather and climate are related, but they are not the same thing. Weather refers specifically to the environmental condition that occur at a particular place at a particular time. It has four types. These include temperature, air pressure, cloud cover, and precipitation. Most people are familiar with what weather is and how it affects their daily lives. The effects of weather are immediate and obvious. On the other hand, climate is the average weather conditions that occur in a region over a period of time, usually a minimum of 30 years. The climate of an area is affected by many factors. The four main factors are latitude, elevation, the air masses that float over the area, the areas nearest to large bodies of water. As you can see, this map shows a wide length of climate. Climate varies from region to region and from factor to factor. For example, the green part here is tropical dry rainforest, and the orange part here has a lot of desert. And I will explain the climate impacts. First, the climate influences the style of architecture. In rainy places, houses should be built high on water and the roof is pointed. In cold places, snowballs make igloos, and they dress as lightly as possible in hot areas. On the other hand, they put on a parka in the cold areas. Spices are used a lot in tropical climates, and food is dried in cold climates. In warm climates, they usually do agriculture and others do cattle farming. In snowy areas, animals put sledding and people move, but in rainforest, they move by small boats. Wildfires are frequent in dry areas, and a typhoon blows in places with a large heat imbalance. And here is a picture of two wars. The pictures of the left shows Napoleon's invasion to Russia, and the picture on the right shows the Battle of Stalingrad. Both of these wars were almost won but defeated by sudden climate change. Thank you. Benedict, would you please?
Next, I will explain the biggest cause of the weather and climate. The sun and its energy. Solar energy is the fundamental cause of all energy on Earth, as well as the energy of planets in the solar system. The imbalance in energy according to latitude is the most interesting part of the solar energy navigation process, in which the density of energy touching the surface varies depending on the angle of incidence. Let's watch a 3 minutes video related to this.
You know that Earth orbits the sun, right? And that it takes a full year for our planet to complete its orbit. Earth also rotates like a slightly tilted spinning top. Earth remains tilted in the same direction all year round as we orbit the sun. But that means the sun's light shines differently on Earth at different times of the year. Let's look at Earth when it's winter in the northern hemisphere. Observe how the North Pole tips away from the sun. This means that sunlight strikes the northern hemisphere at a shallow angle for a short period of time. This is why winter weather is generally cool, with short days and long nights. As Earth orbits the sun, we move towards spring in the northern hemisphere. Now Earth is tilted neither toward nor away from the sun, as day and night are about equal in length. As we make our way to the summer months, notice that Earth is still tilted in the same direction, only now on the other side of our orbit. The North Pole is tipping toward the sun. Sunlight strikes the northern hemisphere more directly, and the sun stays in the sky for a longer time. Compared to winter, summer days are warmer, and the sun stays in the sky much longer. Notice too that while it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it's winter in the southern hemisphere. Because of Earth's tilt, the seasons are reversed. We observed how Earth's tilt creates the different seasons throughout the year. How does this affect life? Plant life and other photosynthesizers, we call them primary producers, depend on sunlight. They respond to the changes in the seasons. Earth-orbiting satellites measure the amount of carbon dioxide absorbed by these primary producers. Bright regions on this map show where they devour the most carbon dioxide, turning light from the sun into oxygen and natural sugars. In spring, when sunshine strikes the cold waters of the North Pacific, productivity skyrockets. Phytoplankton and other microscopic photosynthesizers form the base of the ocean food web, and all ocean life responds to changes in the seasons. On land, forests grow green during the spring, brightening the continents. During winter, continents in this view turn dark from a lack of photosynthesis.
Did you enjoy it? Like this, light energy is converted to Earth and terminal energy. And when the incident angle is 90 degrees, the area becomes smaller and the density of energy is proportionally higher. When the incident angle is close to 0 or 180 degrees, the area increases and proportionally decreases the density of energy. Let's bake bread, for example, and you will see bread burning from the top. It burns from the top because the heat receiving part meets vertically from the energy lay, and that part is closest to the heat source. The part with an incident angle close to 0 degrees will only burn after a relatively more time passes. The Earth's orbit delivers terminal energy evenly to the northern and southern hemisphere. So we can see why people in the northern hemisphere and the people in the southern hemisphere have the opposite season. Because heat is transmitted at such an equal rate, each latitude has a similar climate, regardless of the angle of the Earth. The thermal energy that enters the Earth reverses the energy imbalance which created within the Earth through the flows of atmosphere and hydrosphere caused by the Earth's gravity and rotation.
And now we will talk about Earth's biome. First, bio means living, sphere means ball. The living layer around the planet includes the atmosphere, lithosphere, and hydrosphere. Atmosphere, atom means gas, the gas layer around the planet. Lithosphere, lithos means rock, the rock layer around the planet. Hydrosphere, hydro means water, the water layer around the planet. The three biomes in the picture are related to each other and affect each other. In percentage of atmosphere, there are nitrogen, oxygen, and other gases. Nitrogen 78.08%, and oxygen 20.95%, and other gases 0.97%. Thermosphere, the average altitude from Earth's surface is 80 plus kilometers. The temperature ranges -100 to 1000 Celsius. Thermosphere has very little gas, and gas particles are hot during the day and cold at night. Stratosphere, the average altitude from Earth's surface is 10 to 50 kilometers. Temperature ranges 0 to -60. Stratosphere contains most of the ozone gas in the atmosphere, which protects living organisms from damaging high-energy radiation. Clumps of cells found, but no other life. Air temperature increases with height as ozone gas absorbs ultraviolet solar radiation. Mesosphere, the average altitude from Earth's surface is 50 to 80 kilometers. Temperature range is 0 to -100 Celsius. Mesosphere has very little gas, air is thin, and atmospheric pressure is low. Fewer oxygen molecules. Troposphere average altitude from Earth's surface is 0 to 10 kilometers. Temperature ranges is 20 to -60 Celsius. Troposphere has 80% of atmospheric gas by mass. Troposphere can support life, contains most of the carbon dioxide and water vapor in the atmosphere, contains almost all of the atmospheric dust in the atmosphere, and where weather takes place. A lithosphere, continental crust is thicker than oceanic crust, but oceanic crust is harder. In anatomy of the Earth, there are crust, upper mantle, outer core, and inner core. In structure of hydrosphere, fresh water 3% and salt water 97%. And in structure of fresh water, ice caps and glacier is 75%, underground water 24%, and accessible water is only for patients. Biome is equal to climate. It refers to distinguishing between terrain, weather, and humidity. Large geographical region with a defined range of temperature and precipitation.
So far, this has been the presentation of Ecosystem Unit 7.1, Climate. Thank you.